Next up, we have a presentation from Charger Metals with the ticker code CHR. Charger is an exploration company focused on the lithium and battery metals projects in Western Australia and the Northern Territory. To tell us more, I will hand you over to the Managing Director and CEO, David Crook. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Jane. Thanks very much for having us.
Let me bring up your presentation.
Thank you. There we go. Okay, if we could flick through the first couple of slides, please. Right, so as Jane said, Charger Metals has 3 projects. Now, each of these projects were acquired from Lithium Australia. Lithium Australia was one of the first movers, particularly in the lithium space. And so these projects have been filtered over quite a number of years. Lithium Australia has decided to go down the route of processing or downstream processing. And so that enabled us to approach Lithium Australia and say, well, what say we take your assets, you take a good position in Charger, and we as specific explorers can develop these projects. So we have the 3 projects, Bino, which is lithium just out of Darwin, and we'll talk to that shortly. Coates is a nickel sulfide and platinum group element project just outside of Perth. And Lake Johnson is quite a large tenement holding with spodumene identified halfway between Perth and Kalgoorlie. By way of background, I'm a geologist, and I've been a geologist, well, these days it adds up to 40 years, predominantly in Western Australia, and I've been lucky enough to be on a discovery team for quite a number of projects, and my background is both mining, exploration and management, and we have a very good board supporting us. We only listed in July this year, so many of you won't have heard of us. We listed as a 20-cent stock, and there was a rush of blood when we first listed, and we've settled down at between the 40 and 50-cent range. We have a strong institutional shareholding with Gunsynd and Lind. The top 50 shareholders have over 66% of the shares, and in fact, in the order of about 45% of our shares are escrowed, so it's still a very tight register, and we have about $5 million in the bank. So let's start just outside of Perth. We're all familiar with the Julimar discovery of Chalice, and we're about 20 k's to the southeast of there. We do have the right rocks. The area was known to have a mafic intrusion out there, which is what attracted us to the area initially. And previous explorers had located nickel, copper, platinum group elements and gold anomalies. So the right-hand side picture shows the target area that we're focusing on. Most recently, we've flown a SkyTem survey, and that interpretation is being completed at the moment, and we hope to announce some positive results over the next week or so. We have about 47 square kilometres, not a large area, but you only need an area that's large enough to find your mine, don't you? So that's plenty for us. To give you an idea of who else is in our area, Charger is the red area. Chalice, a $3 billion odd company, is the blue. They're the main initiators, I guess, of the drive into the Western Yilgarn, but there are a couple of other ones there. And Liontown, that's another company that's just exploded. It's over $3 billion of market capitalisation now too. So the point of this is, let's find some nickel sulfides there, and that gives us a really strong leverage play. The Bino project, I suppose it started off as a neurology play. The shaded grey area on the right-hand side is the holding of Core Lithium, and they're, of course, well into their feasibility study. They've got a resource of over 14 million tonnes, and we happen to be an excision within their holding. The blue dotted lines show a gravity anomaly, and all of the pegmatites tend to be associated with these gravity highs. Most recently, we've been doing soil geochemistry and mapping out there. We certainly have plenty of pegmatites on our ground. We're waiting for the results of 3,000 soil samples that were taken, and our next stage out there is going to be drilling. The wet season, unfortunately, out of Darwin was very early this year, so our fellows that were on the ground there got drowned by rain while they were sampling, and it really means that it's going to be next year before we get drilling out there. But by that stage, we should be well and truly organised. We're also flying some new aeromag. Again, the lockdown in Sydney, which is where the aeroplane is sourced from, has delayed that, but I understand the aeroplane is transiting to Darwin as we speak. So the things to look out for the Bino Project, we, for our own geological benefit, will be flying the aeromag. We've got 3,000 soil samples, which will help us map out where these pegmatites are sitting. The geological survey has identified spodumene within our greater tenement perimeter. And so we see this as a very good low risk spodumene lithium play. I should also add, we're only 30 k's out of Darwin there, so from an infrastructure point of view, it's as good as you get. The third project is at Lake Johnson, which is about halfway between Perth and Kalgoorlie. The area is known as the nickel sulfide area, and there have been some gold discoveries in the general area, the greater area, I should say. Lithium Australia discovered spodumene down on the bottom right-hand side at the Medcalf prospect. These are pegmatites that are sticking out of the ground, and we will be drilling them in due course. But we took the view, well, let's see what's really out there. So again, we've got soil sampling crews in the wings ready to go out there to do about a 3,000 sample program down in that area. In the meantime, one of the middle tenements, it's called the Okapi Resources Joint Venture Area. We have done soil sampling there, and we have got a brand new lithium anomaly there that's quite strong. And then towards the top of the area, there's, maybe we'll go to the next slide. I think that explains it better. It shows these areas here. So the photograph on the bottom there shows the outcropping spodumene. The slide above that shows the results of the soil geochemistry, and of course the nice big red and white area at the bottom is a nice new lithium anomaly, and the Mount Day pegmatites. That's quite a big pegmatite field. It's about 12 kilometres long and 2 or 3 kilometres wide. At the moment, they've been identified as being LCT pegmatites, which is the host for spodumene, the preferred mineral. And at the end of the day, we're only about 60 or 70 k's away from Kidman, which is on the next greenstone belt over. And that's one of the biggest lithium operations, or forthcoming operations in Western Australia, certainly. Rounding it out, we're a company that was able to acquire de-risked projects from Lithium Australia, that was the first mover in the lithium area. The Coates project is a Julimar lookalike. Let's wait for the SkyTem electromagnetic survey results over the next week or so. Presuming there's a drill target there, we'll be advancing towards drilling that as soon as we possibly can. The Bino Project, we're flying our baseline geophysics. We've got our baseline geochemistry pretty much under control now. We'll be looking to drill this early next year, presuming we can get our approvals in place, and we don't see any roadblocks to that. That's a great area, and people are drilling there as we speak. In fact, core are drilling in the area, we understand, at the moment. And it's very well sited as far as infrastructure goes. And Lake Johnson, it's a large land holding. It's known to have spodumene, and it gives us a chance to really grow the business. So we like to think we're a well-credentialed company. The board is a mixture of exploration geologists, mining geologists, and industry people, stockbrokers and lawyers and things like that. And we're familiar with these commodities. And I think Charger is in a position to offer a really strongly leveraged play to the investor. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, David. We've had quite a few questions come through, so I'll jump into it. So how do you compare your anomalies at Coates to neighbours like CHN and CPN?
Certainly our geochemistry was very akin to it. If people are interested, they can follow some of our earlier announcements where we've outlined the tenor of the results, and these were done from explorers for bauxite. We'll have to wait and see what the SkyTem produces, and hopefully that'll be good news in the next within the next week or so. So that will then align us, I guess, whether or not we're in the same paddock as those guys. And then of course it's all determined by drilling. So Easy question to ask, hard question to answer.
And just finally, so what should shareholders look forward to over the coming weeks?
Well, let's hope that the SkyTem results can be published fairly soon. That should be followed by geochemistry from Bino, and then it'll just be the grind of exploration, and hopefully it's followed by success.
Wonderful. As a shareholder from IPO, I'm very happy as well, and we look forward to hearing further updates.
Yeah, and it's been quite well supported since we listed. We listed with only about 500 shareholders. Our register now holds over 1,500 shareholders, so the message is getting out there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today, and a copy of today's recording will be available online in the coming days.
Thank you very much indeed.